We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest event of all time.
Good news for the sport.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the John and Rick Show. We have a great show for you with Spencer, our commentating guru. But first, we're going to hear a few messages from the great sponsors that help us out here at the John and Rick Show.
Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros, everybody. This is episode 15, John, season 6. We have such a great podcast together. It's so enjoyable doing it with you, and especially when Jen's in the background and I get to watch her do her due diligence in her work every day.
She's working hard.
We have a great show, and we had a Nations Cup named. We can get to all that information and give everybody the news.
Yeah, so we've got Arville coming up. I guess we should start there.
Yeah.
Right. So just for those who maybe haven't seen it, although I know our audience is incredibly well educated, Rick, we will be cheering on Cosby Green, Lauren Nicholson, Caroline Pamuchu, and Cassie Sanger over there. That is the team for the U.S. They did just name, I don't know if we want to mention it, but they did also just name the British team.
Did they? Who was that?
Well, now my phone isn't.
Well, while you look for that, I can
got
talk a little bit. We have two girls, Cosby and Cassie, are already based in England, so they are not coming from the States. So just Caroline and Lauren would be coming over, unless, So two horses coming over, two already there.
Correct. And the UK team, which is just because I happen to have seen it, we've got Helen Bates, Barney Brotherton, David Dole, who has been a guest of the John and Rick Show and is a super cool guy, so I'll be cheering him on, and Libby Seed. So good luck to them as well, but maybe slightly less good luck than the American squad because, we're homers for sure. That's all right.
Do we know if a Canadian team's going? Probably not.
I don't think so. But sorry if they are Canada. I apologize, but I don't think they have a team there.
They're trying to build themselves up, so that's great.
Right. And we should just mention, Rick, it is going to Arville, where we just had Kai Stefan Meyer on, who runs the facility and is the coach, the team manager for Belgium. So you guys can go back and check out that show and hear all about Kai and get some insight into what he does there at Arville. But pretty cool. Everybody's heading to Belgium to go contest the Nations Cup. So good luck.
And hey, talking about podcasts. So, I've been listening to some other podcasts just to get the insight of, what they do, how they do it. I'm proud of us. I think we have a good format. I think we do a great job. But I think the other ones are really good too.
They are.
So it's.
Are you giving one of them a shout out? Who are you saying that we should listen
to? Noelle Floyd.
Yep.
I'm really impressed with her. She came. I heard her story of getting started in this, and she's grown a really good business there. Always, Major League always has great podcasts. We've both been on that. I haven't been able to catch Sinead's yet. I need to catch that.
Sinead's awesome. Yep, the In Stride one.
We did have Sally on here. We haven't heard from her about being on her podcast.
Shout out, Sally. We're calling you out. When do we get to come on?
Yeah, I've asked her several times. She just
Come on.
keeps on giving me a pillow talk.
You know what it probably is, Rick?
What?
We are so worldwide.
Yeah.
Maybe she feels like we've saturated the market with all the John and Rick show and all the John and Rick that the world can tolerate at this point. That could be part of the problem.
It's funny you say that about saturation.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you a little insight. When we get posts, we share to groups and, do things. That's the easy way to promote whatever we're doing, right? The John and Rick
Right.
show, we promote to Major League or whatever the groups are that we can, push things to. Well, I do the same thing with our posts based on going to Rebecca or doing things with the pony, and I push it out. And this happened, and tell me what your thoughts are. So I get this anonymous response, right, to something I posted on Major League.
Right.
And they said, I'm sorry,
can't wait. I can't wait.
Please stop using this as your own personal podcast. It's not yours.
Wow. That was
I
to
was like-
you or to us?
That was an anonymous response to me using it to promote like whatever Briggs was doing on our reel, right? I posted
Okay.
over there, let them have it.
Right.
But I was like, so my response was Miss Anonymous or Mr. Anonymous. Why are you anonymous? If you have something to say to me, please give me a call or just send me a message. I don't
So
mind.
there you have it. If you guys have anything you want to say to Rick, his number is widely available during this show. So
But I thought it was a bit rude. I don't mind if people put stuff out there. If your group allows you to do posts, right? Share posts.
Yeah.
And you share
Maybe we'll
posts.
get blocked now.
No, Major League would never block us.
We love Major League. They're such great people.
We love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just a little insight there.
Wow.
I
This
think,
feels like a very controversial show today.
well, and I think Jen Holling did something that I really liked.
Oh God.
And I was looking through, and when she does do her post on social media, she's really on point. So she
doesn't post often.
No, but I guess the Chronicle of the Horse decided they're going to do something about an affair on like a major.
Wait, hold on. What?
Yes. And it's like Dear Abby. I'm like, what is the Chronicle of the Horse doing? Why are you posting my trainer's having an affair with so-and-so? What should I do? Kind of article.
Wait.
Did you hear her?
What are we doing?
Said that I thought it might be beneath the Chronicle of the Horse to have an article.
I agree.
Oh my God, I'm getting so uncomfortable.
So look, this is what I'm trying to tell you. We need to stay focused on what we're doing and not worry about what everybody else is doing, right?
Yeah, let's stay focused on our show and check in with Spencer soon, maybe?
Sure.
Or do you want to keep going? I mean,
no, I think we can get with Spencer because Spencer could be a guest podcast podder if we wanted him to be, because he's pretty funny. So wait until you hear this one. Let's get to it, John, because he has a lot to say.
Wow, I am okay. Yeah. So I'm so uncomfortable right now. Let's take a break.
Why are you uncomfortable? You don't have pink hair.
That's probably because I'm in a dress shirt and gym shorts.
Oh, look at you.
Actually, I'm feeling very comfortable.
That's kind of sexy.
Thank you. For those on the podcast, you'll have to go on YouTube to check it out. It's quite the look. All right, let's take a break and check in with our sponsors. Thank you to Horse Trailer Pros. We're going to be right back in the Equibrew segment with the incomparable Spencer Sturmey.
Equibrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
Equibrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order Equibrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
If you're in the horse world, you need to have a good lawyer. Whatever the size of your business, having the best legal support is paramount. Rick and I use our friend and attorney, Yvonne Okrant. She's a partner at Hinshaw & Culberson LLP, which is a national law firm with over 450 attorneys. She's been at this for over 24 years and is licensed in Illinois, Florida, and Wisconsin. Yvonne can help you with contracts for horse purchases, sales and leases, as well as equine activity liability, releases, and training and boarding contracts for individuals and entities. If you need help with a syndicate, she's done over 350 contracts and operating agreements for sport horses in all 3 disciplines. Whatever your legal need is, Yvonne can assist you. Call her at 312-704-3080 or email at yokrant@hinshawlaw.com. So we just told you all about Yvonne Okrant and wanted to just remind you guys to give her a call if you have any legal needs involving anything in the equine industry. Make sure you use the promo code HORSELAW. That's going to get you a free initial consultation. Again, remember that promo code HORSELAW. You're going to love Yvonne.
Hi, my name is Caroline Pamuccio, and I'm here with Jump for Joy. These are one of my key training techniques I use at home. They're extremely easy to use. They're very safe. And the thing I love about it is that they fall down. They have safety cups on them, which are extremely important to me to keep me and the horse safe. I love the fact that Jump for Joy has these type of brush on the jumps. It's a really easy way to teach my young horses how to jump through brush properly. There's not a better jump on the market.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454. Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're really excited to be joined by the voice of eventing, Spencer Sturmey, and we are here in the Equibrew segment. Equibrew is an awesome live probiotic. We love it. I use it on all my horses, so thank you to Equibrew for that. And Spencer, welcome to the show.
Well, a huge thank you to both of you, because it's I tell you what, I've been watching for years. It's an absolute honor to be on your show.
Wow. We're so glad to have you, Spencer. That's amazing. Thank you for saying so. We are the best podcast out there, aren't we, John?
Well, I mean, I like to think of us more as like a multimedia empire, but I'll take podcast.
Love it.
Yeah. Hey, Spencer. So, John's trying to dip his toe in commentating, and I've done a little bit. And I can tell you this coming straight from my heart. Everybody out there that's listening, Spencer is one of the best commentators, if not the best, out there. And I'm not just saying that. I'm being truthfully honest, and I can't tell you how joyful it is to have you and Lucinda do it together. It's some big, huge events, right? I mean, some of the biggest in the world. So thanks for doing that. That's why we wanted you on here. And I know John wants to pick your brain on being a commentator.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's the opening gambit. Thank you so much. I honestly don't see myself as that at all. I do it because I love it and do it because I enjoy it, and I get to work with some of the best people in the industry, and I get to commentate on some of the best sport in the world. So it's an absolute honor, and the fact that I get to do things like this is, it's another cherry on the cake, really.
Yeah, and Spencer, I mean, as Rick said, you do an awesome job at it, and I think part of the reason you do an awesome job at it, aside from having an amazing accent and a great voice, is you're also a horseman, right? Like, you've ridden to the top level in eventing, you've ridden to the top level in dressage, and that, to me, as somebody who listens, not that you have to have done that to be a good commentator, but I think it adds a little element of, in any sport, a little element of truth or believability or credibility, I guess is the word. You think that's fair?
Yeah, no, I do. And you know, I did ride. I had a friend over at the weekend, and she said, you know, have you finished? And I said, no, there's still boxes I want to tick. And she said, oh God, you know, I turned 50 this year, and I still have things I want to do, and there aren't many commentators. Lucinda was one of the first to tell me this. I didn't really think about it, but she said there aren't that many commentators or presenters or broadcasters out there in the equestrian world now that have ridden to the top level of the sport, whether it be in eventing or dressage. Show jumping always scared the poop out of me, but it was, you know, I saw it as it was never something I wanted to get into, and I'm sure we'll come on to that in a bit, but I do think it gives it something else, because I know what it's like to sit on so many different types of horses, to come down to an enormous fence or even a little fence. It doesn't matter. I can commentate on 80, 70, 80 centimeters to badmintons, Burleys, Olympics, and whatever. It doesn't matter. To me, it's the horse, it's the rider, and having that empathy, I think, is like you say. I think it's pretty nice, and I think it's good to have.
No, I totally agree. Did that answer your question, John?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, even just the relationship with the riders that you're commentating on becomes a little bit easier, because if they know you've been there, done that, I think they can take the criticism when it's fair criticism well.
Yeah.
And also I think when it comes out because you've done it, it's also probably not criticism as much as sometimes commiseration.
Well, you say that. There was a great example. She won't mind me saying either. But Pippa Funnel was at Bramham one year, and she didn't get the jump. I'm just going to say that. At the fence in the middle of the water at the Womble Bond Dickinson Pond, as it was called at the time.
Say that 5 times fast.
I know, they want to make these things as difficult as possible. And when she landed, she gave the horse a smack behind the saddle, and I said, I think that was more for her than it was for the horse. And Pippa pulled me up on it, and she was really angry about the fact that I had said that. I was basically saying that it was her fault, where
Sure.
I wasn't. I was saying it as a rider. You know, you're like, come on, you could have done better there. But Pippa knew what I was saying, but it took a while for I think I felt a huge amount of disappointment in myself that I probably said something that I shouldn't have. But I tend to be slightly different than most commentators. I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve when I'm doing live TV and see what things are going. There's no point in saying, well, that was lovely, when it wasn't.
Right.
You know, I know when things go right and wrong when I'm riding. So there's no point, you know, there's a fairly educated audience. So let's not try and pull the wool over their eyes. But at the same time, you know, there's a fine line. And I'm saying this to you, John, in a you know, moving forward, there is a fine line in between what you can and can't say, but do it constructively. Now, you've done enough of it that people will see you as you've had the experience. So, you know, there is that. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I hear what you're saying, Spencer. I mean, being behind the mic, I guess is what you're going to call it, when you're commentating. I mean, I've done it at several large events, and I love doing it. And it's a fine line. Like you said, you've got to be very careful of what you're saying. And sometimes what you said probably was not an initiative of anything bad, but it was
not at all.
So
I said it was more for her. She probably wished she'd given herself a slap down the thigh.
Right.
To say,
I've done that on accident. That's no fun.
It hurts. I've done it too.
So, you know, and Lucinda always, I love Lucinda. And, you know, sometimes she has the same thing. She'll text me or say something. She goes, you know, I just got to try to trap my words before they spew out.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is one of those things, right? And you're always there in the hot seat and trying to come up with things. And
yeah, no, we are. we definitely are, you know, and the thing with it is it's live.
Yeah.
Whether it be a 70 centimeter or whether it be an Olympic Games, it is live. And the thing you don't realize is that when you're talking to a camera, it's this tiny little lens that you're looking at, but it is going globally.
Right.
And so is your voice. And we talk very openly about having the syndrome, and I think we all know about that. And you know, that's really hard sometimes, because I was commentating with somebody at the Paris Olympics, and I'm not naming any names, and they said to me, well, they can't be very good because they're ranked 1,333rd in the world. And I said, I turned around live on air and said, well, I'm sorry, I disagree, because you can't say that. They may only have one horse.
Right.
And the fact is, they have got to Paris.
Absolutely.
That is something that they will have for the rest of their life. Now, I don't care if they're 1,333rd in the world with one horse, as opposed to a top rider being ranked first or 23rd in the world. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's a level playing field, these sports. As we know, the highs are as much as the lows, and there's many more lows than there are highs. I don't need to tell everybody that. Everyone knows that. We're not selling the sport very well.
No, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
I think it's great. So Spencer, you know, getting into like things like that, that's live, and you're going through things and having to kind of deflect, especially when you're doing it with two people, whoever they are, right? And then I do hear you and Lucinda kind of protect each other a bit, because you have such a good relationship. And so it's developing that in your commentary that can really guide the way it's going. And I know John can say this and you can respond, but sometimes, and I get really frustrated, we have commentating that's going on that has nothing to do with what's going on the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get so frustrated, and I always go, oh, I wish Spencer and Lucinda was going at it. Or John's gotten really good at what he does.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to be put in the same league.
Please, you're developing. We all like to develop.
I just do it for fun.
And when I'm doing it,
I think the thing is that I learned over the years, and I was picked up it was very random. I'm sure we'll go back, but the thing I learned over the years was that Lucinda probably walks out of the commentary box with a leg that's black and blue, because I do a lot of punching her leg, and we have a very good relationship. We've known each other for years, but it's having that, like we are, you know, it's knowing when someone's going to finish their sentence. It's knowing when someone's finishing what they're going to talk about, because it's not just whether they're going to finish their sentence. They may go on and say something else, and you've got to preempt that somehow. But that dual commentary, that double, sometimes treble, sometimes four, you know, you've got to know when the right time is to pick up. And you know, that was pretty hard to learn, but once you know it, you know, but you're listening. And I've always said, I want it to be like this is, sat on the sofa, having a chat. I want to do the oohs and ahs, because that's what everyone's doing at home. You know, I don't want to, if someone nearly falls off, I don't want to sit there and be motionless and emotionless. I want to make everybody feel like they're in that moment with us, you know. And I think that's a really important thing to do with not just a question, but with sport in general.
I think that's absolutely right. Like, I was lucky enough this spring to do a bit of the 4-star at Kentucky with Sinead.
Oh,
amazing. I've known her for years. Yeah. And I know you work with her a lot. And it was so easy because we're friends. And I've known her forever. My question to you, and this is purely selfish, and then I think probably in the next segment, we want to get into kind of your story as to how you got into doing this, and your story of how you got into riding. I know there's some stuff when you were a young man as well that was some pretty pivotal things, but on a totally selfish level because I have this coming up where I'm going to do some commentating for the AECs, but it's going to be remote. It's going to be remote, and I've never done it remote. So how much more difficult is that? Honestly, I'm a little bit worried. I'm doing it with Frankie, who I know really well as well.
My other hero.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Love
But
her.
it's all going to be on my computer screen.
Yep.
And it's going to be the entire site's going to be from one coast to the other away.
Yeah.
That said, when we did it at Kentucky, we really looked at a screen doing most of that as well. So
that is all you have to know is when you were in Kentucky, you were looking at a screen. When I do badminton or Burley or Lemulan, Maryland, any of that, even at badminton Burley, we're looking at screens. We're not seeing anything or getting anything in our ears from fence judges. Nothing.
Right.
We don't even, we're not hearing clear 1, clear 2. My advice to you is to have 2 screens open, one with the live stream and one with the live event where you have I call ticker tape.
Right.
So it shows them they're clear 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Because sometimes they don't show that they've had a 20 on the camera, but they've had a 20 somewhere. So you can be slightly one ahead of that. So have another screen open on that. Have a third screen open on some information that you want to pull up if you haven't got everything, ready in front of you, or know it in your head. Preparation, it's like prep. You never know enough. In my mind, you never know enough, and there's always something else that you could know. Like when I did Tokyo, I wasn't there. When I did Paris, I wasn't there. I didn't walk the cross country course in Paris.
So that's the thing that makes me the most worried is not being able to go walk around the course.
No, as a rider, okay, this is where I, with my co-commentator, they said, and I haven't said whether it's a he or a she, they said, I have absolutely no idea. And I said, okay, now all we can do, because we've seen the fences, but we don't know whether they're going up or down or across or no idea, is to say, right, okay, well, here goes the first out, Trailblazer, and how exciting, what you want coming out of the start box as a rider. What do you want when you're coming out the start box? What do you want them feeling, up to the bridle, keen and in front of your leg, going to the first, good jump at the first, get some confident jumps. So you talk about that as they're going around and get the feel of the course. And then by the time the second horse comes around, third horse comes around, where those camera angles are, exactly where they are and what they're doing. And that is, don't try and overcomplicate it. Don't worry about it. Just get in there and take your time. I always get moaned at. We've been on for what? I don't know, 10, 11 minutes. I do a lot of talking. That's my job.
That's good.
Don't keep talking to fill airtime, because what you don't hear is the atmos of the live. So at home on the live, you'll hear horses galloping and the crowd, whereas you on your screen will probably not hear that.
Right.
That's the difference. So let it breathe and let it happen. It doesn't matter the first few, talk about other things. Talk about when they go out, a dressage leaderboard, or, where they are, bit of breeding, something. Get the feel, then roll when you're more confident. Don't jump in both feet and get into quicksand.
Wow.
That would be a good one.
All right, that's all very good advice. I appreciate it. I will take it to heart.
I think the one thing that we have to know, and Spencer, is I don't know. I understand what he's talking about with the ticker, because that's really good for you to be following.
Yeah.
But is the American Eventing Championships going to have that ticker going?
That's one thing. That's one thing. So that's one thing you need to. That's one thing I would ask beforehand.
Right.
So always pre-warned is forearmed, and just say, do you have this technology? Is it running through event entries? Is it running, what do you have? It is an AEC, but do we have any? If you don't, John, you can't do any more than what you do. That is
right.
it. You can only work with the tools that you're given.
Right. I just made a note, so we'll see what I hear.
Yeah.
All right. You're the man. So where do you go next? Are you coming to Maryland? Are you working in
I'm
Maryland?
coming to Maryland.
Awesome. And then where do you go? Where's your next event you're going to be working at?
My next event is
Stumped him.
I should know this because it's only in a few weeks. My next event, it's Scone Palace, which is the new one that's taken over from Blair Castle.
Cool.
In Scotland, in the UK. And then from Scone, I go to Burley. From Burley, I go to Carpathia in Romania.
Wow, that'll be cool.
It's really cool. I've been going there, I think, for many years, and I train a few of the Romanians as well because they struggle. They struggle on the circuit, and I try and do as much as I can for them. And then from Romania, I think I go. So Romania, end of September, October. We're talking now. Something
Asian
else.
Games. When are
Asian
those?
Games. Yeah, in Thailand. So yeah, I'm going out there, and that's really exciting actually because I'm doing both the dressage and the eventing out there. So that'll be really good fun.
So our really good friend is over there, Danny Mogel. She's
amazing.
The Mexican. She's there coaching the show jump team for Cambodia.
Amazing.
Yeah, so she'll be over
I love
there.
that.
She'll have to come and say hello.
And I'm going, which is really good.
I know, that's cool. Thailand. Go to White Lotus.
I know. Again, this industry has taken me all over the world. I mean, I competed all over Europe. Didn't go that far afield because we're talking quite a few years ago. But this, which I never wanted to get into, has taken me all over the world. And I was in Australia earlier this year in April for Adelaide, which is one of my most favorite events. It is so unique. And I literally flew in on the Monday. No, I left here on the Monday, landed there on the Wednesday, finished cross country, did the show jumping and the prize giving on the Sunday, went back to the hotel, straight out on the Monday morning, back here 2 days, straight into badminton.
Wow.
And it was
That's a lot.
It was a lot. I usually spend about a month out there, but it was a lot this year because the dates have all changed. But you suck it up, Buttercup, and you get on with it.
I like that saying.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. You get to travel around and
see
some of the most amazing venues in the world.
Absolutely.
So, Spencer, before we wind down this first segment, what of those engagements include Lucinda?
So I've done Adelaide with Lucinda. Lemulin, I do with her. I've done European Championships with her. I've done World Championships with her. I have done multiple other national and international events with Lucinda. She's become over the years from a little bit like, Ginny Elliott, Lang, Holgate, whatever you want to call her, was always my idol when I was growing up. I thought Ginny's purple patch in the 80s was just incredible, following on from Lucinda's primrose patch. And I just think, I don't know about you guys, but in that day, like, Lucinda, Ginny, Toddy, Nicholson, and of course your big American boys as well, but they were icons. And I just think what's happened to the sport now is that it's just gone so vast, but the talent has got so incredibly fierce that everybody seems to be an icon now.
Yeah, For sure. Those guys are legends. And to get to do that with somebody like Lucinda is pretty legendary for sure. And it's good to know if we ever see her coming back from a major event and she's limping, we know why.
You know why?
Yeah.
Punch.
Exactly. So let's do this, Spencer. Let's take a break. And then I want to come back and I want to get into your story. You know, we took all of your advice here and listened to all the wise things that you have to say about your job. But you kind of hinted this wasn't maybe your first thought as to what you were going to do. So let's find out how you got to where you are right as soon as we get back. Thank you to Equibrew for sponsoring this segment. Great live probiotic. You guys need to go check it out. You go to www.brickfieldnutrition.com
or equibrewusa.com. And we're now on Shopify platform, everybody. So it's going to be even easier to order.
Boom. We'll be right back.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Another thing I love about Jump for Joy is that the jumps are so easy to move. It takes me and one other person to make a whole new cross-country questions. No tractors needed. I've got a lot of different sort of questions I've been able to design with these jumps. Set up some really difficult angled hedges, bank out the water to an angled hedge, and have these really nice skinnies. And another great thing is they have these amazing flags, so the horses always understand the jump between the flags.
All right, so we're here with Sally Spickard, and I wanted to mention the new podcast, Go Eventing. Sally, it is going to be great.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's going to have bi-weekly episodes. We're going to have about 20 episodes for you in 2025. So we're very excited to have kicked this thing off and would love for everybody to take a listen. So I think we'll all do a lot of the same things, but I think more podcasts in the eventing space especially is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I really like the idea. And Will Faudree is the first guest that you're having. What a great first guest to have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody out there need to watch or listen to your show on all the podcast outlets. Yep. And you can go to Eventing Nation's
EventingNation.podbean.com is the main podcast page. So you can listen to it there or on your favorite podcast platform.
Go Eventing.
Go Eventing.
Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com. Since 1950, Maison Forestier has been offering its know-how to design custom-made saddles for passionate riders. In 2016, Maison Forestier took a turn and expanded into the sports world with the goal of improving the performance of the rider-horse pair. You will find a professional, reactive, and fun team to answer your needs. And this is why I have chosen Forestier for all of my saddlery needs. Feel free to contact the saddle expert in your area for more information by visiting www.forestier.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are still here with the great, the only, the magnificent Spencer. And it's so exciting to have you on the show. And I said to John maybe a couple weeks ago, I said, we need to get Spencer on. He was like, okay. And then I got a hold of Lucinda Spencer and she goes, he's really hard to get a hold of. I was like, give me his number. So thanks for being on the show. As John alluded to, I think there's some other things within your life. You've had a really good things happen and some not so good things happen. So take us through your journey.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster as I think many competitive careers are. You know, there are certainly ups and downs, and some have more ups and some have more downs, and you're dealt the hand that you're dealt with. And I was fortunate enough, unlike many, I was born into a horsey family. Both my mother and father were horsey. My mother was a event rider herself, and my father was in hunt service. So we moved around quite a lot. You usually do 3 to 4 years in hunt service with one pack and then move. So we traveled the country a little bit, but I was hunting off the lead rein at 4, pretty independent, and I don't think I've changed that much. Then I don't know, I was one of those, we lived in the middle of nowhere, went to a fairly normal school, but horses, ponies, they were not part of the education. And it doesn't matter what you do around horses, whether you go in a shower, you smell. And I was picked on from a very early age. I was stabbed.
You serious?
Yeah, with a what we call a Stanley knife. So it was a blade about that long. It was not, I hated school. Couldn't wait to leave. If I said to my mother actually the other day, I remember nothing. I have no recollection of my education at all. I think it's one of those things I've just blanked out of my mind and my memory. I've tried to think about it and I still can't. But anyway, so then I always wanted to do horses. I loved it. Mum, Prue Tully, who Mum also worked for with the Honourable Lady Lyle with the yard, and we were involved at Waterstock with Lars Sederholm, where Yogi Breisner was born, with many top event riders, including Toddy and now the chef de keep of the Swedish team. And there were so many brilliant people there. Richard Walker was there, Tiny Clapham, so many. And it was always my dream. And in those days, Mum and Dad couldn't afford lessons or anything like that. I was on homebred, and hope I can use the word. No, I'm just going to say not so brilliantly bred homebreds. And you got on with the job, and you made the best out of what you had. And I remember going to my first Pony Club Championships, and the horse I was riding, who eventually went on to do pretty good things, but it was like sitting on a hot tin roof. And I managed to get a dressage test out of him, but it was trying to work out, how do I do this? Because I wasn't having lessons. So I would go in, and I would put my VHS, my video in and play, go back out, ride, go back in, play, go back out, ride. And I was very lucky that my father, alongside his hunt servants term, was also a cross-country course builder. And he built Mark Yates horse trials for 28 years, and Mum was the organizer for 25. So I would just go and practice and play around, and that was great. And I'd try and emulate Ginny or Lucinda and ride on a, Ginny always used to say, if you can ride on a buckle end and all this sort of thing. And I would go and do that and test it and try it. But it ultimately became my downfall, because the cross-country course that was round home eventually became my playground. And that's when I had my first proper fall. And I broke my neck in 1991 at the age of 16. And
that is a lot as a 16-year-old kid.
You could work the rest out yourself when I was born. But yeah, it was... At the time, I was in the pony club. I was doing triathlon, tetrathlon. I was doing modern pentathlon. I was selected for the British teams. for that. And I was also at the same time I was whipping into the beagles, those little dogs that chase after rabbits, and hares before anyone starts. So I was really fit. So when I got back, I was jumping an oxer into a wood, and the mare never took off. And basically did a rotational fall. I landed on my head. She went to come and land on me. I managed to get out the way. And then I remember the mare was stood and I was on the floor thinking, ow. And I'd broken my collarbones before. I think my left one was 13 and my right one was 14 or 15 times, falling out of trees and doing all that sort of thing as a kid and out hunting. And I remember going, ow. But I knew I had to get back on and jump back out. Oh. And it was either over an enormous ditch and rail the other side, or jump the oxer in reverse.
Oh.
So what would you do? I mean, a normal person would go to the ditch and rail.
Yes.
Oh no, you went back to the
oxer. I went to jump the oxer in reverse.
And how'd that go?
And no, she jumped it this time.
So she sharpened up.
Well, we later found out that she had asthma and spent her rest of her life on this Ventapulmin with the mask on, and I mean,
wow,
So that was tough because I ended up. So I broke C 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
Fractured C2. They say C2 is you're that's it. 1. It's either lights out or from the neck down. And I walked in. Okay, we'll go back quickly. Right, so I got back to the yard and I rode in a little bit stiff and got off, and Mum said, "Oh, you don't look quite right." And I said, "No, I've just had a fall down in the bottom of the valley." And she said, "Okay, well, we probably ought to get you to hospital. You don't look right." And I said, "I don't feel right." And we had a Volvo estate, so a low. You have these SUVs, but we had a low car,
like a big station wagon.
I couldn't get in, so Mum went and pushed me in.
Oh,
I've always told her that was the reason I broke my neck. And anyway, I walked into hospital. They put me straight on a bed, gave me a muscle relaxer, and that was it. My body literally fell apart. Everything was being held because I was so fit doing the triathlon, tetrathlon, modern pentathlon, beagles, everything. My muscles went, and that was it. So I was then in halo traction for 4.5 months.
Oh, wow.
With the bolts screwed into my head. They all fell off one night. I couldn't get up the stairs, so I had a bell in the office. And I beat the crap out of this filing cabinet one night because all the bolts had fallen off or come out of my skull. No one heard me. And then they tried to put it back in with no anesthetic.
Oh my God. This is a horrible story.
Then it was in the wrong place, so they lowered it. And then it was a summer of 1991 as well. And my mother, she reminded me the other day, we had a swimming pool at home, and we had this blow-up crocodile, and I went to get on the crocodile, and my suit with the thing coming popped the crocodile, and I sank. And my father had to jump in and get me from the bottom of the pool.
Oh my God, this keeps getting worse.
I know, but
we need something inspirational. You came back.
During that, the best thing happened, because during that, as I was coming out of it, we had a phone call. There were no mobile phones then. We had a phone call at home, and we couldn't afford a mobile even if they were around. And there was a phone call from Carl Hester, who said, and he'd see me ride at a local establishment up the road, said, how was I? He just left Dr. Bechtelsteimer's. And he said, would I be interested in going to be second rider?
Wow.
And
Wow.
I was like, sorry, what? I mean, I don't really need to think about that. Yeah. So at age 17, I went to Carl's and was second rider for him for just under 4 years. And I had then a horse called Greatly Brandy Butter. I mean, what a terrible name. A horse that was only 3 years old, shy across thoroughbred, that we taught to do changes by the time he was 3.5, 4. He went eventing, went up to intermediate. I kept eventing, kept dressaging. I got great horses there to ride, which is when I got the opportunity to ride, you know, horses up to the Grand Prix and compete and do
Amazing.
I mean, God, I did not realize, and this is the thing, I did not realize how bloody lucky I was. And the amount of information that went in, I didn't realize either until later years, when you suddenly start thinking about it, and you know those amazing quotes come out, and you think, oh, makes sense now.
Right.
But I just wasn't ready. I just wasn't, you know, it wasn't my I didn't want to do dressage, but Carl Hester rang. I'd seen him in the Horse and Hound and everything else. Why wouldn't you go?
Right.
I didn't know whether I wanted to leave the ground again after my fall. And I didn't want the pressure of leaving the ground again after my fall. So I thought going to Carl's was a great, for me in my head, a great decision to make for me, because then it was my choice when to leave the ground again, rather than it being forced upon me because I had event horses and things like that.
I think it's brilliant, to be honest. It was part luck and part great decision on your part to say yes to that.
What? It was just amazing. Anyway, I left there. I went and rode for some incredible ladies. Charlotte Bathe, one of them, she just got back from Atlanta. Went and was second jockey to her. I rode some incredible horses over some amazing years, and was very fortunate to go to some stunning yards with some even more incredible opportunities. And it was then that in 2000, and I think it was 2, I broke my neck for the second time, and I rebroke 3 of the vertebra. Never had any metal work, never had anything. And then the third time I broke my neck, I had 3 horses entered at Weston Park. I had 2 in the 2-star, 1 in the 3-star, which would be 3 and 4-star now. It was
right.
Roads and Tracks and steeplechase
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back when things were right.
Exactly. And I rang the organizer and said, I can't come. I've got to withdraw these horses. And she said, oh, and I knew her very well, Janet Plant. And she said, oh, that's so sad. Spenny, I don't know whether you'd be interested. We need someone to do the trot up commentary for the international horses. And I sort of, this is where I'm getting on to, you see. And right. I suddenly went, what? What do you mean? She said, well, we haven't got anyone to do the trot up commentary. Would you come and do it? Okay, well, I leave hospital on Monday. Trot up's on the, which she said, you know when the trot up's. And I went, okay. Okay, I could. And so that was the next step.
Wow. I was going to ask you, but you were going right into that. Well done. So, Spencer, all these physical injuries, and I do recall something with your leg.
Oh God, that was just over 2 years ago.
Did you explain that all to me at Maryland? I think.
Yeah, no. So a horse came down on the road, but it was a sort of comedy. As he went over, he got faster, and then landed on me on the tarmac, and I had what they call acute compartment syndrome, which is a calf injury. Where the blood just keeps building like the Titanic, and then you end up it cuts off your circulation. You end up having to have your lower limb amputated if you don't catch it in time. If you do catch it in time, you end up with what they call drop foot, which is another terrible thing. Anyway, I didn't have it in my goddamn calf. I had it in my thigh, which was even worse. So they wanted to amputate from the hip, and I managed to. I didn't know what to do. We're coming out of COVID. I didn't know what to do, so I phoned my vet, and my vet said, "Do whatever they say."
It's a good
and I was
vet.
like, "Okay, yeah." The vet said, "Do whatever they say." I was like, "Okay." So I made a bargain with my surgeon at the time. He said, "Look, if you go in and you think you can save it, please." And he said, "Look, surgeons want to save; they don't want to amputate." I was like,
Right.
"Okay." But you're nervous. I mean, nervous as hell.
Yes.
So you went into the surgery not knowing if you were going to wake up with a leg or not.
Nah.
Wow.
And I woke up, and the first thing I said when I woke up was, "Nurse, I've wet myself." And I've just said that live, haven't I, as well?
You did. I mean, we could edit it out if you want.
Nah.
Okay.
And she said, "No, you haven't." And I said, "But I'm wet." She said, "No, but your legs open." I said, "What do you mean?"
Right.
So they basically cut me from the knee to the hip and left the leg draining for 2 days. I was led in a pool of blood.
Yeah.
They then stitched it up. I was non-weight bearing for 4 months. I did the proper thing, and this is good for the viewers. I did the proper thing, and I lunged myself around the kitchen table with my bad leg on the outside.
Right.
Okay. But they said I shouldn't have lunged myself at all. I was non-weight bearing for 4 months, but we're riders. Then during rehab, they said, "Oh, this isn't going very well," because it was agony, and it still is quite sore. But basically what happened during rehab, cut it short, is that my thigh muscle split into 2. So I've now got an extra muscle. I mean, if it was on the inside, I'd be very popular, but it's on the outside.
Yeah, Spencer, I don't remember how I saw that, but it seems like I saw it.
So, Spencer, I think what this brings to mind to me, and if we don't want to go into this, we don't have to, but what it brings to mind to me is the world that we live in today and the sport that we have. So you've told your story, which to you is just your life. And of course, you were going to come back and you were going to do horses because your dad did horses, your mom did horses. You are a horse person.
That is actually incorrect. I did it because I loved it. It wasn't because of mum and dad. Interestingly, because my sister had no interest, and they pushed her harder than they pushed me.
Okay, well, I guess more what I meant was you were a horse person. You loved it because of your upbringing is really how I meant that.
Yeah.
So my question is, sort of taking a step from this, there's a lot of talk in the sport right now, like, where are we going? How do we deal with social license? How do we deal with all of this stuff? And a lot of, just half of one of the stories that you just told would be enough to make a lot of people quit. So how do we as a sport, how do you see us as a sport going forward when maybe your life story is pretty extreme, but injuries, accidents, things like that are part of life, and they're certainly part of sport. I guess the question is, keeping all the context of your life in there, do you see eventing as a sport that is going to remain and continue to be able to grow? Do you think we're in a good spot, a bad spot? Where do you think we're at?
I personally did it for me, and I did it for the horses that I was riding at the time, because, as you know, the relationship that you have with those horses is better than any relationship I've ever had with anybody. And I think that's purely because they can't talk back. That's a joke. No, I just think that the relationship that you form between a horse and yourself, I mean, the trust is indescribable. I mean, the bond is indescribable. Where do I see this sport? I see this sport in a very fragile place at the moment, and I tell you for why. And that is not only the eventing, but when something goes wrong, especially over here in the UK, when something goes wrong in racing, the first person to put that on social media is one of the governing bodies of this sport. That is wrong. When things go wrong in this sport, we shouldn't be hiding it, but we should be educating. And that is a really hard thing to do, because we live in an industry now where when we were growing up, it wasn't so available. It is. And all I've ever said to anybody when I do a bit of media training and things for the younger generation coming up and through, you have two choices when you post things on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or wherever you want to post them. It goes public or it goes to friends only. Now, if you go to friends only, it goes to your mates, it goes to people that you've accepted to be in your group. That's fine. If you want it, if you post it to public, be prepared to be shot at, because you are opening up a can of worms here. And that doesn't just go for the individual responsibility, it also goes for the governing body's responsibilities. The way that I think Heath Ryan was dealt with the Australian Federation, I don't, again, it could have been so much better. That it shouldn't have been dealt with the way it was. There's so many things, and I just think if we want this sport to survive, then I really do think that those people at the top need to take a damn good hard look at what is going on before they start blaming everybody else.
Well said, Spencer. I totally agree with you. And I don't know where John's position is, but that has been in the forefront of my mind for the last 5 years. I think we've really started seeing the crumbling from the social licensing issue.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your input on that, but I totally agree.
John, what's your thought on it?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I completely agree with you. I think to me, and I'll be interested in what your thoughts are on this, I feel like when something, we'll use Heath as the example, like when something like that comes out, I think there's a fine line as an association between blowing it up, but also holding the person accountable and letting everybody know, like, okay, like this is what happened, this is going to be the consequence for it, and then we move on.
Well, no, but that hasn't happened. I mean, Charlotte's just been given license to go back out competing, and that was put out onto social media, and she has got slammed, dunked, kicked, punched. Every avenue on social media have come in like a swarm of bees and just gone, nah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I guess what I'm saying is that's the way it should happen but I'm not sure how you make that happen in this world, because people love to jump on that stuff. But I just feel like when something like, first of all, an association.
Well, it's our job, I think, ultimately, to educate people.
Correct. And to educate them as to what the consequences are and
what the trouble is when these posts go out, they're negative.
Yeah.
They're totally negative. I know when Charlotte's thing came out initially, edit this as you want, but when Charlotte's thing came out initially, I was called by Eurosport, I was called by radio, TV, wanting to do an interview, because I've known Charlotte for years, was with Carl when Charlotte was like, what do you know? Anyway, I did an interview which was broadcast. I had police outside the end of my drive for 5 days because I'd had 17 death threats.
Oh, wow. That's ridiculous.
Because the video hadn't even come out then, and you're just like, hang on, guys, I hadn't seen the video. Then the video came out, and when they put the video to what I'd said, but it didn't, but they put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
You're just like, what? How do we stop this though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that FEI should have a bomb thrown at it. and restarted, because there's some there's so many people in there that should not be in there, that have no idea of the sport, that do not promote it well and do not push it forward in the right direction, and they do not listen to the riders. They might listen to some of, but ultimately the decision falls back on the powers that be, and you're just like, well, why are they there then?
Yep. Again, Spencer, totally agree. John's
I'm gonna have to respectfully not agree with all of that. I understand
John's gonna have to have a vanilla response, which is typical John. So let's go with that.
No, I like it. This is why we're doing this.
Yeah, no, I agree with the heart of what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but full disclosure, I am on the FEI Risk Management Committee as well, and
I know
steering
this is why you've got to put that hat on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say,
I
think
that
everybody that is in the FEI is maybe not always making the perfect decisions, but they're doing it for the right reasons and trying the best that they can.
Okay, my thing is, if I came down to a fence like we would always do, big fence, badminton, gave it a little smack down the shoulder.
Yep.
And then maybe one behind the saddle. You're now going to be a cruel person. But that used to be that you would be waking the horse up.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I think
now you can't do it.
We have to be very careful.
So
and
now what are we falling into another pit that we ride dumb horses?
Well,
yeah. What's your answer, John? What do we do with that?
So my answer would be, I do agree that we have to be very careful that we're not legislating and making rules just so that it can be acceptable to people who don't know about horses. I think we have to be careful of things in the images that we show.
Yeah,
I do wonder, actually.
There was that Kentucky one with I think it was an American rider with hitting a horse over the open ditch. Was it a slow motion video that went onto social media? He posted it.
Oh, Matt Brown.
Matt, yeah, he posted it, slow motion of him giving it a whack. But why do it?
Right.
Why do it?
I mean, there's a lot of discussions.
Show it to your mates.
Yeah, discussions on that, and I think some people, and not just Matt, but some people feel they have insight into some things that right now that insight's really not warranted, because I think we need all.
But this is the thing about. I mean, I've ridden. I mean, like that horse I mentioned earlier. I couldn't. He was like sitting on a hot tin roof. When you got to advanced, you had to wear spurs.
Yep.
Now that was probably the worst thing for me,
right,
that I could ever have imagined. Now you don't have to. You haven't for a number of years. They've now done that with dressage, not in this country, but I think they've just done it in Denmark, that you don't have to ride in a double bridle at medium advanced level. And you shouldn't have to ride in a bloody double at Grand Prix.
Want to. Yep.
For me,
agreed.
I'm a horse person, but I'd be like, that looks so much better in a snaffle.
Yep. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. And then of course, those with the double bridle advocates would say, well, just ride off the snaffle then. But it's like, that's not the same. It's all that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's all this, what's in the gob and what does it look like, isn't it?
Yes. And I think,
it is going to be interesting, the whole whip thing, and, them having more and more restrictive rules in it. I actually wonder, this is just brainstorming, but I wonder if it's not going to make riders start picking more thoroughbred type horses going forward.
I think we're going to go back.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go back to the roots of it again. Because you're not going to be able to ride horses. Well, you shouldn't have to anyway. I mean, I've never. Carl always said to me, never ride with a stick. He said, you've got two things on the end of your legs. Use those.
Yep.
He said to me, the hot horses you ride with more leg. The dumb horses you ride with less leg, or the not so responsive horses you ride with less leg. Never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. I love that one.
Yeah.
Because the louder you shout the less they hear.
That's a good one too.
It's good
I
advice.
like that. Hey, Spencer, it's, like amazing. There's a lot of things that I think we could go into on a roundtable discussion, but it's good to have those discussions. And John, I just give you a hard time. And while I know sitting on committees and being in associations and knowing, it doesn't mean that you're putting the FEI down. I just think, to Spencer's point, is that structure and leadership within the staff side of the FEI should be better acquainted for eventing and those people that can kind of be there to help us through it. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think there's got to be more clarity. There's got to be more transparency.
Yes.
With everything, because if there isn't, I don't see there's any future.
Agreed. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I think the question, though, is, and obviously we go around and round on this, but we want clarity, but then we also want to be careful of the pictures we put out. So that's not clarity. So then I think it's where do we want it? Where do we not want it? What is it we want to put out there?
After the Charlotte thing, they had to take out a brand new committee just to go through the videos that are being sent in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. And the one thing I would just say, as far as the eventing side of the FEI, that staff is pretty nimble and not terribly big. You would think that the international governing body would have this massive staff, but they don't.
I've had a great time having you on the show. And this, I am going to say to you as we leave with my husband next to me.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being one of the only, I'm going to add John to this, commentators in the world that says that we're husbands. And
I know.
It's really weird. They call us partners. They call us all kinds of stuff, but they can't throw that word out. And
I do.
Well, now that Briggs has worn a cowboy hat and a bandana at Rebecca Farm, he's
not wearing anything now.
He's kind of a partner.
Spencer, thank you so much for
couple, and I know I'm very, very proud to say your husbands. It's you didn't have the best of times, and I'm very proud to say that about you too.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Right, John?
Absolutely. Well said, Spencer. So listen, Spencer, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. You were amazing.
We're going to have another time with him.
We could do a whole nother show. We could do 2 hours, but we'll save that.
We'll bring Lucinda on to have another screen.
Oh, God, it'll never end.
Thank you so much. No, I know. And I do talk. I mean, that is my job, but
that's why we wanted you.
I do yap on. Sorry.
No, we wanted you because you do talk. It makes our job so much easier. You were amazing. So thank you so much. And thank you to Horse Trailer Pros for sponsoring the show. As always, Matt and his team are amazing. If you guys have any issues with your horse trailers, honestly, anywhere in North America, you should come down to Florida and get Matt and Horse Trailer Pros to get it sorted out for you, because they are awesome. So thank you to them. And again, thank you to Spencer for coming on here. We truly appreciate you. We will catch all of you guys at our next show in 2 weeks' time. So until then, thanks so much. We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.